Okay, since we are running behind, I'll be just directly transitioning to the next team. Okay, moving on, our next team is 18763 Texpand. They're a team from Cape Town, South Africa, and they'll be talking about season timeline and team planning. Actually, their presentation today is on video, so we'll be watching that real soon. 18763 is an FLYSET community team based in Cape Town, South Africa. Established in 2020, the team has 8 members and has qualified for the World Championship 3 times, earning winning alliance captain in South Africa each year since its founding. And now I'll pull up the video.
Good job. I'm sorry to follow. No, you could have followed it, but we didn't actually. No, it took me once. Yeah. And then you lose. You don't understand that slow motion. Sorry about that. We got Katie right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's watch this video.
Okay, so hello, my name is Peter. I am one of the co-captains of the Texpand 2063. I've been part of this community for 5 years now. And it's been a incredible journey so far, and I'm also the business lead on Team Texpand. So just a review of what we'll be covering today. First, we'll look at what you should be focusing on early in the season. And then why is this actually important for your team to have a season plan and a timeline? And then also we'll talk about how it can stay to your plan. So key early season priorities. First, you want to establish sub teams. It's essential to have sub groups within your team, the FTC. There should also be a sub team lead, and this person will be in charge of overseeing the group and making sure everyone stays safe to the timelines. Next.
Into the team and help sub teams to get used to working with each other and really just get bonding as a team. And then after the game and the season reveal has happened, I would encourage your team to actually just sit down and have a meeting and to establish some clear goals for your season. So literally as the season started, you now know the game, you know what type of role you're gonna have to make, and like now you just need to achieve you need to make some goals of what your team wants to achieve. And then your sub-teams should also, I would suggest setting sub-team goals. So your business team, your software team, and your mechanical team. And this will really help your sub-teams to push for the same thing. But yeah, having overarching team goals helps you stay on track throughout the whole entire season. So I'd really encourage you to do that. And with just these few things at the start of the season and doing at the start of the season, it will set you off on like really good footing for the whole entire season. And yeah, I can ensure that these few things they will positively impact your team rather than negatively impact your team. So I'd really suggest doing these things. Okay, and then next, why is having a team plan and timeline actually important? So having a well-structured plan makes it easier to achieve your goals. So the goals that we set, when everyone knows what they're aiming for, it becomes a team mission rather than individuals trying to achieve goals, right? So if everyone's aiming to achieve the goals that we set together, then it will help you achieve them, because it's a lot harder to achieve those goals if just singular people are trying to achieve them. and timelines help keep the team on the same page, and it's a good way to make sure that everyone has something to do throughout the whole entire season. And it's also a really good way to record what you've done throughout the season as a team. Lastly, a timeline gives a bigger perspective on how events and competitions should play out. It's kind of like a roadmap for the entire season for your team, showing your team what needs to be done and when it needs to be done. Okay, so every team uses a different way of timelining and a different way of managing their team. We've tried the main ones like ClickUp, Trello, and Monday.com. I know a couple teams also use I think it's called Notion or Notation, but we found it quite difficult to stay up to date and consistently be changing around our project boards and stuff, and we found it quite a hassle. I know a lot of teams have found it very successful, and so I'm mentioning them because they are really good tools. It's just it didn't work for our team. So what we ended up doing is we just ended up using Google Slides. Sorry, not Google Slides, Google Sheets. And I'm not saying this is the best method by far. I think that the other ones will give you a lot more industry experience, but using Google Slides was just the best method that worked for our team and helped us really stay on track. Because it was an easy thing that everyone was accessible to, and it worked well for us. So I'm saying that whatever you decide to use, just how does our team use Google Sheets to timeline and manage our team? So first we create sub-team timelines. This allows each of the sub-teams to focus on their own tasks and deadlines, and these are different tabs at the bottom of our spreadsheet. And then once the individual timelines are in place for the different sub-teams, we create an overall master timeline. And now this timeline is just showing what the whole goals and stuff the whole team needs to be achieving by certain deadlines. And then this gets updated by the sub-team captains within the team. And it's a really good way because then you have the master timeline and you have the sub-team timelines, and everyone can stay on the same page very easily. And yeah, it's all in one place, which is really nice. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to switch over. I can actually show you an example of how our team uses Google Sheets, Sheets, to manage. Hold a sec, let me just change my screen. Okay, here we go. So as you can see here, this is not actually our personal team timeline or spreadsheet, but this just kind of shows you how to organize like a timeline. So we have like the dates, the days are up at the top, so the weeks, these are the different weeks of the season, and we fill out the whole entire season. And then this is game release right here, 6th of September. And then we put down the who, and then activities. And so these are all this is just all stuff that you need to do, that needs to be done. And we can keep adding to this throughout the whole entire season. And then we just color code the weeks that this task needs to be done in. And then, yeah, we complete it by these dates, and then we can check it off. So we use this method, and it works really well for us. And then, yeah, you can see who does it. So like business team, mechanical team, coding team, everyone in the team. And then, yeah, this is just like we have our competitions. So this is regionals, this is nationals. And it's just showing the weeks leading up to regionals and the weeks leading up to nationals and what needs to be done. And so this was what like your overall team spreadsheet would kind of look like. And then we would have the different individual sub-team timelines along the bottom. Okay, now I can go back. Okay, so I hope that made sense. Okay, let's move on. So, okay, hold a second. Okay. There we go. Sorry. I was having some issues. So first of all, how do you adapt your timeline to obviously your own region? Because this is just over here. This is just a picture of it's from First's website. It's just to give you a general idea of what each team season will look like. Each region is obviously going to be completely different, so it's not going to be exactly like this, but this is I think mostly for USA teams. This is just a rough idea of like when your competitions will be and what dates you're going to have to be working towards. So at the beginning of the season, just contact your PDP or whoever manages first in your country, and just ask them when the competition dates are, and they should have a rough idea when they want regionals or nationals or states or whatever they want, or whatever the competition is going to be. They should have a general idea of when that's going to happen. So just yeah, ask them, and then you can put those, as you saw, in the spreadsheet or whatever management software you're using. And yeah, it's just really good to have the competition deadlines and competition dates in, so you can be actively working towards them and knowing what you have to achieve before those dates, you know. Yeah, so every region's going to be different. Okay, and then lastly, how do you respond to changes? Because no one can ever stick perfectly to their timeline. And yeah, I mean, your timeline is going to be made at the beginning of the season, once the game comes out, and it's going to be really difficult to stick to that timeline. So um, I would suggest just building in time. So building in time for mistakes. Overestimating is always a good way of doing that. Estimating how much time stuff is going to take you, because you never want to be giving yourself too little time to try finish a big task and then ending up taking more time and then pushing your whole entire team's timeline out, and then you don't actually have stuff done by the competition dates that you need it done by. So yeah, just allocating time, really good way of actually saving yourself a lot of trouble later on. We do this quite a lot. We just give ourselves like 1 week or 2 weeks extra for stuff, or we start on a task 1 or 2 weeks beforehand, before we should be starting it, just because that makes it a lot easier to complete it by the actual due date. And then also, as I said,
Okay, since this video is now taking longer to load, we'll just be moving on to the next presentation.